The Pittsburgh Steelers have signed Aaron Rodgers. And I do want to talk about this a little bit here. First of all, I want to say, I'll be on record, I like the move, and I'll explain that in a minute here. It seems like, and I almost know for certain, a lot of hate on Aaron Rodgers comes from two different places. Number one, media members who are political one end of the aisle and don't agree with anything else the other aisle does. As a person who's not political, I laugh at all of it. But it is always funny to me when Aaron Rodgers jumps on Pat McAfee and says something that he believes in or wants to be vice president. Does he sound even smart to me? No. Am I going to kill him and say he's a bad quarterback for that? No. Like, I'm a fan of watching Nick Wright and some other pundits who vehemently and outspokenly hate Aaron Rodgers. They'll never say that, but it's very clear they have an alternate agenda, even when the guy's playing well. And to me, Aaron Rodgers has seen, and I also believe media can influence the public's thinking a lot. So media members and fans who don't like his politics, that's on y'all, man. And I'm not going to, I know it might rub off in the locker room. From what we know in the reports, it almost seems like, actually, I'm almost positive, there's never been a bad report about Aaron Rodgers in the locker room. Like, you might mention, Greg Jennings. Well, Greg Jennings doesn't come across as the most consistent tool on TV sometimes. And I'm not even going to open that can of worms, but it's like no teammates have ever said he's just a bad guy to work with, right? Because the Steelers wouldn't bring him in. The Steelers have drafted guys like that, like Antonio Brown and George Pickens, but come on now. Now, let's get to the other reason of not just politics, why fans don't like Aaron Rodgers. His social media and Tom Brady tards have told you shouldn't. He chokes in the big games. He's just not a winner. And to me, a lot of that is this blah, blah, blah garbage. Now, I do believe, I'm not going to get into the GOAT debate here, but I do believe sometimes the intangibles matter. Like, I get it, first to work, last to leave, be a good locker room guy, which again, Aaron Rodgers seems to be, despite what the outspoken everybody else says about him. Don't make a big mistake when it matters. And I don't know of Aaron Rodgers ever doing that. Like, there were times, especially with the Packers, when he was way, like what was it, 8 years ago, and I get it, he's 40-something, but listen, hear me out. Aaron Rodgers, when he was with the Packers, how many times did his defense let him down? And it's like, no one gave him credit for being awesome despite that. And I was like, it always frustrated me. Like, Tom Brady fans like, oh, there you go, he chokes again. Meanwhile, Tom Brady always had a top 10 defense at worst. And so it always bugged me when people went down that route. But also, I'm not going to hold the Jets' tenure against him. Number one, he was a 40-year-old recovering from an Achilles injury. And number two, Steelers defense, despite the Jets on paper and the New York media, the Steelers defense is at least twice as good as the Jets, in my opinion. They also have 10 times the coach the Jets have ever had. Like, name the best Jets coach in the last 20 years. Mike Tomlin doubles that guy by a million. That's bad math. But it seems like to me Aaron Rodgers is under a really good coach. Now, I will also say this. I think their offensive coordinator, I guess it was Arthur Smith at this point. I'm not a fan. Was not a fan of his with the Falcons. But he was a good hit. He did get the Falcons to be competitive. And I know it's like, I get it, but I feel like Aaron Rodgers is in the best case scenario for a guy his age. And statistically, he did not have a bad year last year. I know hindsight's 2020, and some people like to repaint the past. It wasn't great for Aaron Rodgers, but a lot of that, again, was New York media hating his politics, go figure, and fans believing everything they see on Twitter and social media in general. I don't think Steelers are going to have a bad year. I will also say this. I'm going to have my NFL predictions. What show is that? I believe we're doing that in September. So first show of September 1st, which means I got, 2 or 3 months to prepare for this thing. I'm going to have my predictions and tell you if I think Steelers make the playoffs or not. I'm thinking about it. I haven't seen the schedule. I haven't really dabbled in anything. I know a lot of stuff has to fall into place. But shout out to the Steelers for getting this done. And shout out to Aaron Rodgers for still caring about football. Because the contract that he signed was only like $10 million guaranteed. And even like it could only be worth like 19, and $5 million of that, like $5 million of the extra $9 million was actually him playing the whole season. So I love this. I think it's a low risk, pretty high reward. Will they win a Super Bowl? Maybe not. But we've seen teams with great defenses win the Super Bowl before with average quarterback play. And I'm just saying, again, I'm not going that far maybe yet, but I got to check their over under. I got to check the win totals. I'm just saying.